Hey guys, it's Cassie. We are back in today's episode answering some more questions. If you missed part one of the Q&A, head back to last week's episode and have a listen, and then jump back to this one. We get right back into it, sharing one more coping mechanism, and you get to find out which one of us is going to survive the zombie apocalypse. Let's get right back into it. Another coping skill that I do so unconsciously that I forget I do it as a coping skill because I've done it for so long, and that is pretending like I'm an actress, but in my own real life. And it doesn't always work perfectly, but it really gives you this confidence that you maybe don't have.
That is the coolest thing ever. I would be terrified because I would feel like I would forget my lines. So clearly I don't have the right personality to be an actor in any way. That is a cool idea. I love that.
It totally works. So when I first started doing some things for myself a long time ago, it's very awkward to call on your own behalf. And so I would actually just pretend that I was an employee working for me, even though I was me.
I would brilliant.
Answer. Yeah, I would answer the phone, be like, "Hi, this is Susan. I work with Cassie." And I don't know where I even heard that or somebody told me, but I was like, you know what? Pretending to be someone else or being like an actress totally works. So I've just kind of kept doing it so much that it's just an unconscious thing.
That is cool. And I would like to meet Susan because she sounds like she's an excellent assistant.
She's very sassy. She stays out late after work on Wednesday nights. Cassie does none of that. Cassie's in bed by 9.
I love that she's your alter ego and she's living a fabulous life.
All right, next up.
Okay.
Is there anything you don't like about doing the podcast?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
That's a really good question. There is. For me, it's the worry in advance, which is, I'm just sick of saying the word anxiety. So that's why I said worry in advance instead of anxiety. For me, it's the prep leading up to it. Not that we don't prep and rehearse or anything, which clearly I know for me it shows because I always look like I'm flying by the seat of my pants because I am. But prep meaning I'm thinking about it. We do have a topic that we know we're going to talk about, but that's really it. And so then I'm thinking in my head, what do I want to say about the topic? Do I have something to bring to the table? Is what I'm going to say going to be kind? And, I would never want to be hurtful to anybody. Not that I'm a hurtful person, but, I'm anxious. So I worry about everything, including that, it's like, I want to bring honor to my family at the end of the day. And I want to be helpful. I also want to have a good time. So I'm anxious about all of that. I worry about all of that in advance. Once we get going, when you say, Cassie, hi, everybody, I'm Cassie Gaub, I immediately start to feel better. And I know that it's going to be okay. But leading up to that, I'm anxious. So that's the part I don't love about it, but the trade-off is totally worth it. So I'm willing to do it because I really enjoy it once I get it going. How about you?
I think the worst part is hearing myself on the playback. Just hearing my voice in general is awkward, and hearing how many times I say is mortifying to me.
I love it.
It's definitely the worst part. Are you ever embarrassed talking about anxiety or mental health?
I'm not. I think that's something that's also evolved. I don't know that I've ever been embarrassed in the past, but I wasn't really comfortable or sure how to put words to what I was feeling or what was happening. And so I might have had some embarrassment because I couldn't quite articulate what was happening, but that's evolved and grown over time as I get, more comfortable in my own skin. And so I don't feel like I'm embarrassed now. Well, clearly not. We have a podcast where we talk about it, tell stories, and I have a boatload of stories. Here's one. Okay, here's one I will tell you. This is the story of my life and reason why I should be mortified all the time and then just choose not to be. So I'm in Nashville on business. And I'm going to be going to a conference the next day, and I'm exhibiting at the conference. And so I needed a couple things for the table, some flowers and some chocolates for the table, right? So I'm in a rental car. It's pouring rain in Nashville, and I head to the Publix, I think, or something. Can't remember the name of that grocery store. So I go in, get my stuff. As I'm walking out in the pouring rain, it dawns on me, I have no idea where I've parked my car or what color it is, because I'm in a rental, people. I rent a car on a regular basis. So remembering what that is, I have no idea. So I'm standing there in the pouring rain, and I pull out my keys, and I'm pushing the lock button so that I can see the car, the lights flash or whatever. So I do that. Fabulous. The lights flash. I head right on over to this car, and I was going to open up the trunk, the back. It was like a SUV, a small SUV. So I was going to open up the back so I could put stuff in there. And then I decided I probably should put them on the passenger seat so I could kind of keep an eye on the flowers and they wouldn't fall over. So I go and open the passenger door, and there's a woman sitting in the driver's seat, and I let out it was a combination of a scream and a sucking in air at the same time. Like I went, oh, and she was drinking a bottle of water, and she looks at me, and I said, oh my gosh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I thought this was my rental car. And she says in the cutest little Nashville accent ever, girl, it's okay. I didn't even spit out my water. She was so kind. She was so kind. Here's the deal. So then I'm just mortified. Like I'm backing away as I'm continuously apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you all right? I didn't mean to scare you. I apologize, and then, cautiously close the door. Here's the thing. Her lights flashed, my friends. So she either put her foot on the brake or something at the exact same time that I pushed the button on the remote. And so I truly thought I was getting in the right car. Now here the story gets a little longer, which is I still don't know where my fucking car is. Like I don't know where my car is. I'm now anxious and ruminating about the fact, oh my gosh, I think Tennessee is a pretty gun-toting state. So like she could have pulled a gun out and shot me in, and rightfully so. I barged into her vehicle on accident. So then I'm panicking in the parking lot, like I could have died, and also I'm getting poured on rain, and I don't know where my car is or what vehicle I've driven to this Publix. So there you go. Like the Humiliations Galore is the name of my sister's book. It's not really a book yet, but she says if she ever writes one, that's what it's going to be called. And I feel like I have stories I can contribute to her book. If I got embarrassed every time something anxiety crazy happened or, whatever, then I'd be constantly in a state of embarrassment. So there's my story.
I love that story. I agree. I don't get embarrassed at all talking about anything, mental health, anxiety, poop, nothing at this point in my life. But I am close to 40. So I feel like a lot of that has come with age. Definitely when I was younger, I didn't have the words for whatever was going on. I did know I was different from people in some way. And so I didn't want to say anything. But the more I talked about it and learned about it and shared with people, the more it really just became clear that, oh, I'm not the only one with this thing that's going on, and it's not that weird anyway. And we should probably all be talking about these things. I think that about a lot of things, anytime you're going through something and it feels like nobody else has ever gone through it, I guarantee you somebody has gone through something very similar. And it's important to talk about those things. And that could be a part of the reason why I'm not embarrassed talking about it, because I feel so passionate about people talking about these things so that everyone knows they're not alone.
We've talked before about there's safety in community, there's peace in community, there's solace in community, to know that other people have similar issues or concerns or frustrations or whatever is really comforting. So I think the more we all can talk about it, the better. But I also honor those folks who aren't in that space, who just they're not there yet, and maybe might not ever be, and that's totally okay. It's a really individual thing to decide what you want to share and disclose. And but I would not but and I would just say to those folks, if you don't want to talk about it or disclose it, it's okay. I would encourage you not to be embarrassed about it, even inside your own heart and in your own soul. We're all just humans, walking around in skin, trying to, get through. And it's totally okay to feel those things and feel like sometimes we feel like we're crazy, and it's really disconcerting when you feel that way. But I would just encourage folks to give yourself some peace and love. If you feel like you can't reach out within community to get support, then just don't beat yourself up about it, is what I'm trying to say. Because we're all screwed up in different ways, and in some really great ways. Some things are really good things that can happen to us even in the crazy. So that's my 2 cents.
So that leads us into our next question. If you could give up having anxiety, would you? No.
Yeah.
I think at this point the benefits really outweigh the negatives. And part of that is, I think, really just I am someone who has anxiety. It's hard to think about who I
Right.
would be if I didn't have it. My house would probably burn down because nobody's checking the stove, people.
That's
So
right. You're
I feel
safer
like I
because
keep,
of it.
yeah.
I think for me, that's a really hard question, because I agree with you. It's like I have it, so I can't do anything about it or wish it away. And I don't know what my life would be like without it. I will say that I'm jealous sometimes of folks who don't have that particular thing to deal with. It's like, everybody has stuff. Like I said, we all have stuff. So if you asked me, would I trade it for something else? Then the answer, and you told me what the something else was, then the answer 99.9% of the time is like, no, I know this. I know I'm comfortable with this. This is who I am. I recognize it. I know what I can do to manage it for the most part, so I wouldn't trade it. But would I give it up if I just could? Probably. I probably would, just to pee less. That's really it. I guess that's what it comes down to. I don't know. It's a hard question, and I think it's a good one, because it gives you pause to kind of think, well, what are the benefits? Because I can't give it up. So what can work for me? How can I make it work better for me in my life? Because it's not going anywhere. So if I could give it up and pee less, I would. But otherwise, I think I'm stuck with it.
I think I have too much anxiety about thinking about giving up anxiety. I'll just keep it.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, 2 questions left. This one, I like this question a lot. What's one thing you wish more people would know about anxiety?
Oh, wow. We touched on this a little bit in another episode. I can't remember which one. Maybe you can. But I think you don't always know from the outside.
Mhm.
So, looking at somebody, you don't know what their struggles are, whether it's anxiety or anything else. But in this context, I wish people would know that it doesn't look like something in particular. It's not just one thing, and it doesn't derail your life. It doesn't have to derail your life, I should say. I think there are varying degrees of anxiety, and there are some that are really, really, really intense, and probably, medication can help, or other things can help. So I don't want to discount that, because it can be a really big struggle. But I feel like, sometimes people make judgments about what anxiety is and what it looks like, and that, you're a basket case and can't function in life, and that is not true. I function really well. I have a great job. I have a great family. I have a great life. And, anxiety is part of it, but it doesn't define me, and it doesn't diminish me. How about you?
That's a better answer than I could ever come up with.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That was perfect. Would anxiety help you survive in a zombie apocalypse? And I'm dying to know, because The Walking Dead is based in Atlanta. So we know I will be the first to know if a zombie apocalypse
I
happens.
didn't know that. Well, I want to hear from you first then. What's your prediction for you and your zombie apocalypse in an anxiety? Is it helpful?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a natural survivor anyway, but with my anxiety, I've now already thought about everything the zombies might be doing and every flaw in every plan or everything that might work in a matter of seconds. That is just how an anxious brain works. So you want me around if there's a zombie apocalypse. And I'm a good shot. I don't, do a lot of guns. We don't really have guns, but I did grow up in Montana on a farm and I am a good shot. So.
Okay, we have something in common, sort of, in that answer. The first part of the answer is I do not have the same kind of anxiety brain that you do in terms of the zombie apocalypse, because I'm also a good shot. I'm an exceptionally good shot for a city girl, and here's why. I was married to a redneck for 23 years, and every holiday, every summer break, whatever, our little family would go to his family's house in this little town. And they also had some property and whatever. And picture this: Thanksgiving dinner, you eat Thanksgiving, and then very shortly after Thanksgiving, someone says, well, let's go shoot at stuff. And that's what you did. After a meal, you just went and shot at stuff. So I became a very good shot. And here's where the controlled breathing, I've said in several podcast episodes that I'm similar to a serial killer in that way. Like, I can calm my heartbeat, my heart rate, and my breathing, and that's why I'm a good shot. Number one, we had a ton of experience because I'm not kidding, every time we went there was some sort of gun activity involved. And number two, I know how to slow my breathing, so I'm a really good shot. But I would last one day in a zombie apocalypse, because I don't own a gun, but I know where to get one within my realm. But once the bullets are gone, like, I'll be a deadly shot. I know the importance of the double tap. Once the ammunition is gone, I'm done. I'm not crawling under anything to hide. I don't run. I have shitty knees. It's like, let's be real about how that's going to go. So me and Izzy, assuming Izzy's still around because she's going to live forever, me and Izzy are sitting on the couch, probably eating popcorn, just waiting for them to show up, because it's happening. And I know it's happening. I can be anxious about it, or I can just give it up to the universe, like, this is how it's going to end, and I'm okay with it. Or I somehow make my way to Atlanta and hope that you'll save me.
Well, my strategy is make my way north, because I think they move slower in climates where it gets cold, and then there's snow, so you can see their tracks. So I'll come to you.
Holy shit, you have thought of everything.
Girl, one episode of Walking Dead, I already had a zombie plan. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. This is what we're doing. I'll let people know. We have to have a safe word, so I'm not a zombie.
This is the best news ever. Please text me the safe word.
I think the zombies wouldn't scare me. You know what? People scare me. I love true crime. I have anxiety. I came out the womb, like I said in another episode, with trust issues and anxiety.
Yeah.
So I think the zombies, I'd be like, clearly not trustworthy. But all the other people, I'm not sure. I haven't quite made a plan for that yet.
Yeah, zombies, you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
They're coming to kill you. They're coming to eat you. That's just how that's going to go. Your average everyday, 7-Eleven clerk, he could be a really nice guy or a serial killer. It could go either way. You don't know.
So maybe my anxiety actually isn't going to benefit me as much as I thought, because, you have to trust people probably to survive a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's every man for himself. Like, my girls are on their own. They have better knees than I do. They can run. They'll figure it out. That maybe that mother instinct will kick in. Probably not. I mean, I love them and I want them to survive and be okay, but they're better off without me. They can go faster without me. So I think your plan and doing it on your own, I think it's the way to go.
Vigilante style, I guess.
This was fun, Cassie. The questions, that was really great.
All right. If anybody has an answer for these questions, we'd love to hear, especially your zombie apocalypse plan, because the way the world is, it could be sooner than anybody ever thought.
That's the truth. All right, everybody, be well and avoid the zombies until next time.